Think your city's safe from collapse? Think again. When the next recession hits, some places won't just struggle, they'll crumble. What happens when the jobs vanish, tourists stop coming, and entire industries shut down overnight? Can your hometown survive that kind of pressure? Some of these cities are already on the edge, buried in debt, addicted to one fragile industry, or trapped in poverty cycles no one's escaping from. And the next economic shock, it could be the final blow. Stick around, because if your city's on this list, it might be time to pack your bags. These are the 10 US cities that will collapse first. 10. Las Vegas, Nevada. People still think this city is recession-proof, but the truth? Las Vegas is one of the most economically vulnerable places in the US. If the economy crashes, this city might be first to fall. Las Vegas, Nevada runs almost entirely on tourism, gambling, and conventions. During the 2008 financial crisis, Vegas had the highest foreclosure rate in the nation. 1 in every 34 homes was in foreclosure. And guess what? Nothing has really changed. In 2023 alone, nearly 1 in 4 households were rent-burdened, and unemployment still hovered above the national average. What happens when people stop traveling, conferences get canceled, and casinos go dark? Everything stops. Jobs vanish overnight, the glitz disappears, and the Strip turns silent. You'd be shocked how quickly a neon paradise can become a desert ghost town. So before you roll the dice on Vegas during a recession, ask yourself, can a city built on luck survive when it runs out? 9. Detroit, Michigan. Think your hometown has seen tough times? This city has already collapsed once, and it's dangerously close to doing it again. Detroit, Michigan was once America's manufacturing crown jewel, but now it's a cautionary tale. The city declared bankruptcy in 2013, the largest municipal bankruptcy in US history. Since then, over 300,000 people have left. Entire neighborhoods sit abandoned, overrun by weeds and silence. You might think it's bounced back, but here's the eye-opener. Detroit still has one of the highest poverty rates in the country, at over 30%. Unemployment spikes with every economic wobble, and industries still overly reliant on auto manufacturing, which is one of the first to get hit in a recession. So when the US economy takes another hit, can Detroit weather it, or is the next collapse already on the way? Before we move forward, hit that subscribe button. It helps us keep creating eye-opening content like this, and trust us, you don't want to miss what's coming next. They say California is the land of dreams, but some cities look more like caution signs than golden opportunities. Let's talk about one you probably weren't expecting. Number 8, Fresno, California. It's not flashy, and it rarely makes national news, but this quiet city could become one of the first to break under the weight of a US recession. Fresno, California sits right in the heart of the Central Valley, a region often called the breadbasket of America. But here's the uncomfortable truth. When the economy starts shaking, Fresno isn't built to stay standing. Its foundation relies almost entirely on agriculture, a notoriously unstable industry that lives and dies by the seasons, droughts, and global demand. The jobs here? Low wage and often temporary. As of late 2023, the unemployment rate in Fresno was above 7%, nearly double the national average. And with over 23% of the population living in poverty, many residents are already in survival mode, even during so-called good times. You'd be shocked how fast a city like this can go from struggling to collapsing. But that's not all. Fresno's housing market is another pressure point. While prices have gone up, wages haven't kept pace. The result? An increasing number of residents are rent-burdened, meaning they spend more than 30% of their income just to keep a roof over their heads. When people are already hanging by a thread, it doesn't take much. One job loss, one bad month, for everything to fall apart. And if you're thinking, well, at least it's California. Think again. Fresno doesn't have the tech boom of Silicon Valley or the star power of LA. There's no major economic safety net here. When the agricultural industry stalls, recessions almost always choke off exports and production. Cities like Fresno face a brutal chain reaction. Fewer crops mean fewer jobs mean less spending, and less spending means local businesses close. The dominoes fall quickly, and the scariest part? Nobody's talking about it. Fresno is the kind of place that quietly suffers until it can't anymore. So, while everyone's watching the big cities, don't be surprised if this one silently slips into crisis. And by then, it may be too late to stop it. 7. Atlantic City, New Jersey. Think your city has backup plans? This one has been betting on luck for decades, and that luck is running out fast. Atlantic City, New Jersey is the East Coast's version of Vegas, only with fewer resources, less glitz, and a whole lot more economic risk. Once a hotspot for gambling, entertainment, and beach tourism, the city has become a glaring example of what happens when you put all your chips on one industry. Here's a brutal stat. Since 2014, 5 major casinos have shut down, taking thousands of jobs with them. Even though a few reopened under new names, the wounds never fully healed. In 2023, the city still had an unemployment rate well above the national average, and you'd be shocked how many people live paycheck to paycheck here, with over 25% of the population living below the poverty line. What happens when a recession hits and tourists stop showing up? The hotels go empty, the boardwalk goes quiet, the slot machines stop ringing, and suddenly thousands of families are left scrambling with no backup plan. Atlantic City also carries a mountain of debt. In fact, the city had to be taken over by the state of New Jersey in 2016 to avoid financial disaster. That kind of government intervention doesn't scream long-term stability, it screams emergency fix. Even today, the city's recovery is fragile. Small businesses depend heavily on weekend visitors. Housing remains unstable, with many homes underwater or abandoned. And public services are underfunded. So ask yourself, can a city survive when its main economic engine is based on people having extra money to blow? Because when wallets tighten, casinos are the first to feel it, and Atlantic City knows that pain all too well. And here's the kicker. There's no safety net big enough to catch the fall if it happens again. The foundation is weak, and the support system is thin. Another economic downturn could leave this city more broken than it's ever been. Before we move on, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It helps us keep bringing you real, eye-opening stories like these. And trust me, the next city on this list is one you won't believe is at risk. They call it the Big Easy, but surviving an economic collapse here won't be easy at all. This next city has charm, history, and culture, but also cracks in its foundation you might not see until it's too late. Six, New Orleans, Louisiana. It has the food, the music, the culture, but when the economy crumbles, this beloved city could face a disaster even worse than a storm. New Orleans, Louisiana is known for its soul, but behind the beads and brass bands lies an economy teetering on fragile legs. You'd be shocked to learn just how much of the city still hasn't fully recovered, not just from Hurricane Katrina but from years of slow economic erosion. In fact, as of 2023, nearly 24% of the city's residents live in poverty, and many are just one crisis away from losing everything. Tourism props up the city, but let's face it, when a recession hits, tourism is one of the first luxuries people cut. That means fewer people booking hotels, fewer meals at local restaurants, and a sharp decline in events like Mardi Gras. And guess what? That ripple could turn into a tidal wave fast. But it's not just about tourism. The city also struggles with crime, underfunded schools, and aging infrastructure. The job market is deeply uneven. While some sectors thrive, many workers face low wages and limited opportunities. New Orleans had an unemployment rate of over 8% in parts of 2023, far above the national average. And with the rising cost of living, even working full-time isn't always enough. Let's talk risk. New Orleans is also one of the most climate-vulnerable cities in the U.S. Floods, hurricanes, and sea level rise constantly threaten its stability. So when a recession hits and federal funds tighten, who pays to repair the roads, rebuild the levees, or maintain emergency systems? The truth is, this isn't just about weather or tourism. It's about how many pressure points the city has, and when you stack them together, even a minor economic shakeup could knock New Orleans to its knees. 5. Bakersfield, California. You probably don't hear much about this city, but it's exactly the kind of place that could fall apart overnight when a recession hits. Bakersfield, California isn't flashy, but it plays a major role in the U.S. economy, especially in oil and agriculture. That's right, two of the most recession-sensitive industries form the backbone of this city's economy. When oil prices drop or farming takes a hit, this city bleeds jobs. And guess what? Bakersfield has seen it before. In the last major downturn, thousands were laid off in oil fields and processing plants. The recovery was slow and uneven. As of 2023, the unemployment rate in the city was hovering around 8.3%, and many neighborhoods are still catching up. But here's where it gets worse. Over 20% of Bakersfield residents live below the poverty line. That means nearly 1 in 5 people are already struggling, and that's during so-called stable times. One shock, one disruption, and the system can collapse. Housing here isn't safe either. While property costs are cheaper than LA, wages are dramatically lower too. Many residents are trapped in a cycle where rent, food, and gas eat up their entire paycheck, leaving little to fall back on. And with California's cost of living rising overall, Bakersfield's working class could be among the first to feel the pain. You'd be shocked how invisible cities like this become when things go south. There are fewer headlines, less federal support, and smaller safety nets. That means local businesses shut down, public services get slashed, and families are forced to make impossible choices fast. Bakersfield might look calm on the surface, but beneath it, cracks are already forming. And if the economy slips, this city could fall hard. Before we show you the next city, don't forget to subscribe. It helps us keep bringing you stories the mainstream doesn't talk about, and trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Paradise. But behind the palm trees and beach parties lies a ticking financial time bomb. This next city might surprise you, and if you live there, you may want to pay extra attention. Number 4, Miami, Florida. It looks like a dream, sunlight bouncing off high-rises, luxury cars cruising palm-lined streets. But this city is sitting on a financial powder keg. Miami, Florida might look like paradise, but you'd be shocked at how close it is to cracking under pressure. Beneath the glow of beach clubs and skyline views, there's a serious affordability crisis. As of 2024, Miami ranks among the top 5 least affordable cities in the entire U.S. for renters. And it's not just about high rent. The average local earns around $40,000 to $50,000 per year, while rent alone can eat up more than half that. So what happens when a recession hits? The service industry, hotels, restaurants, nightlife, is one of the first to suffer, and that's Miami's bread and butter. Thousands of jobs could vanish practically overnight. People working 2 or 3 gigs just to survive would suddenly be left with none. And then there's the housing market. Miami has experienced a massive real estate boom fueled by foreign investments and tech money. But guess what? Booms don't last forever. When the bubble bursts, just like in 2008, it's not the penthouses that fall first. It's the everyday folks in modest apartments and small homes who lose everything. On top of that, Miami faces a silent monster rising seas. Every year, the threat grows. Insurance premiums are soaring, and some insurers have already pulled out entirely. If a natural disaster hits during a recession, recovery becomes almost impossible. Crime is also creeping back in. Economic instability has a ripple effect. Desperation rises and so does violence. In 2023, parts of the city saw an uptick in property and violent crimes, especially in areas already burdened by poverty. Here's the kicker. Miami is popular with retirees. But if the market tanks, if services dry up, and if the city's infrastructure can't hold up, will they still want to stay? All the glam in the world can't cover up a system cracking underneath. Miami is gorgeous, but dangerously vulnerable. Fragile number 3, San Bernardino, California. It's not just big cities on the coast that are in trouble. This next place already went bankrupt once and now it's barely hanging on. San Bernardino, California declared Chapter 9 bankruptcy in 2012, and even though it emerged from that shadow, the damage left deep scars. The city has never fully recovered. You'd be shocked at how many neighborhoods still show signs of decay. Boarded windows, shuttered businesses, and crumbling roads. As of 2024, San Bernardino has an unemployment rate hovering around 7.8%, well above the national average. Many residents rely on public services to survive, but in a recession, guess what? Those services are often the first to be cut. The poverty rate here is staggering. Over 25% of the population lives below the poverty line. That's 1 in 4 people already struggling. One major layoff, one missed paycheck, and it snowballs fast. San Bernardino's public safety is another concern. Crime rates have remained stubbornly high, and in times of economic crisis, they typically climb even more. Fewer police, more desperation, it's a dangerous mix. Some neighborhoods feel forgotten, and when the money runs dry, they truly are. Education and healthcare aren't immune either. Schools are underfunded and access to medical care is limited. That means fewer resources for kids and families exactly when they need it most. And let's not ignore housing. While home prices are cheaper than in Los Angeles or San Diego, wages are also significantly lower. Many people here are rent-burdened, living paycheck to paycheck, and when there's no paycheck, evictions, homelessness, and despair can follow in waves. San Bernardino already had one economic collapse, and if the U.S. enters another recession, this city could be the first to fall again. Before we move forward, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It helps us keep digging into these stories and bringing you the facts most people ignore. There's more coming, and some of it might hit closer to home than you expect. City that reinvented itself as the next big thing, but under the bright lights and tech slogans, this place might be heading for a massive reality check. Number 2, Reno, Nevada. Everyone calls it the biggest little city in the world, but you'd be shocked at how quickly this rising star could fall if a recession strikes. Reno, Nevada reinvented itself after the casino boom faded. It attracted tech giants like Tesla and Amazon, becoming a mini Silicon Valley in the desert. But guess what? That kind of rapid growth comes with a heavy price. The cost of living in Reno has surged, rents have more than doubled since 2015, and home prices shot up over 150% in less than a decade. Locals earning average wages are already being priced out, and if those big tech warehouses downsize or shut down during a recession, thousands of jobs disappear in an instant. Reno's tourism industry is another weak link. It still leans on gambling and entertainment, and during hard economic times people stop spending on non-essentials. That means fewer tourists, empty hotel rooms, and massive layoffs. And don't forget the city's aging infrastructure. Roads, public transit, and water systems are struggling to keep up with the population boom. If funding dries up, they could fall apart, literally. Reno might look shiny from a distance, but if the economy crashes, this little city could crumble faster than anyone expects. Number 1, El Paso, Texas. This border city has quietly faced one challenge after another, and you'd be surprised how close it is to the edge. El Paso, Texas is one of the poorest large cities in America. Nearly 20% of its population lives below the poverty line, and many depend on public jobs or government assistance to survive. When recessions hit, those budgets are often the first on the chopping block. The city has limited industry diversity, heavily reliant on the military base, education, and retail. If any one of those sectors takes a hit, El Paso could lose thousands of jobs, and the private sector here is not nearly strong enough to catch the fall. Wages are low, but housing prices have been creeping up, and with inflation, essentials like groceries, gas, and utilities are pushing many families to the breaking point. The crime rate has stayed relatively stable, but economic stress can flip the switch fast. Desperation breeds unrest, and if people feel like there's no way out, the social pressure could explode. El Paso has heart, culture, and resilience, but if another financial storm rolls in, it could be one of the first cities swept away. These aren't just places on a map, they're homes, communities, and stories on the brink. A recession won't hit everywhere equally, and now you've seen the cities most at risk of collapsing first. So before you go, don't forget to like, share, and hit that subscribe button. It helps us keep bringing you real stories, the ones most people ignore. Who knows, your city might be next. Thank you everyone for watching. If you like this video, please remember to like and subscribe to our channel. See you next time.